Are you ready? It's time for Disturbin the Burbs.
Hi there, and welcome to Disturbin the Burbs. I'm Jim Sharon.
And I'm Jen Sharon.
Hey, we have got a lot to chat about today, so
do.
what do you say we just jump right in?
It's been quite a week.
Pitter patter.
Let's get at her.
All right. A quote from one of our favorite shows.
Yeah, Letterkenny.
Letterkenny on Hulu. I know we've talked about it a couple of times before, but if you haven't checked out Letterkenny, it's on Hulu.
Get after it.
It's a comedy show filmed in Canada, sitcom, I guess, if you want to call it that. But it's probably one of the funniest things I've seen in a long, long time. So watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a preamble watch list.
Right. That was a little revisited hint.
Right. So, hey, you woke up to something a little disturbing last night. Why don't you tell the listeners about this?
So, yeah, this is how our week is going. Mm-hmm. So, sound asleep.
Right.
Probably 3 a.m. and I'm hearing retching sounds.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we'll just let that.
And it wasn't me?
It was not you. It was our beloved dog, Teddy.
Oh, boy. Yes.
Right there on the bed between the two of us.
Right there on the bed.
As he usually is.
I just heard you saying something. I can't remember what exactly it was.
Well, I mean,
you were making
his
noise.
sounds woke me up, and I'm all, oh shit, you know. And I wasn't trying to wake you up. I was just being loud because I was pissed off at Teddy,
Right.
and that woke you up.
Right. And I think I just kind of woke up, got my bearings, looked at what was transpiring on the bed in front of me, and it looked like Teddy was about ready to eat it back up again.
Yeah.
Because I think he knew we were mad. There was some anger happening around him.
It was very loud for 3 a.m.
Yeah, but boy, that just kind of like shot me out of bed. It interrupted a very vivid dream that I was having. But we can discuss that a little bit later.
I was still busy being grossed out. You were all shooting up out of the bed, getting the washcloth and
right.
And I'm all, well, this worked out well for
I
me.
had nothing worse than having to get up out of bed, run downstairs, grab rags and spray stain remover spray, which we. If we'd bought stock years ago, we would have been millionaires by
Right,
now.
in the pet spray.
In Resolve pet stain removal spray. But anyway, I'm rambling.
It was nice of you to be the one to clean it up.
Yep, I cleaned up that fucking mess, and it was disgusting. It was a big, huge pile of vomit.
Lack of details.
I think our listeners actually want the details.
I don't think we need piles of anything steaming. So anyway, moving along.
Steaming piles of vomit.
It was bad.
Yeah.
It was bad. But so that was last night.
Yeah, and then just like the night before or so, we had another
a few nights ago. Anyway.
Yeah, we had another disturbance in the middle of the night. That once again, I was disturbed from my sweet, sweet slumber and the dreams of fantasy that I was having.
This is my saga, honey. I need to begin this one.
Okay. Well, you can let the listeners know what happened.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm ready.
We want a play-by-play of this one.
I can handle it. I can retell this. Mm-hmm. Okay, here we go.
And you're not the only one with this affliction, right?
Oh.
There are other people that have this affliction. Kind of issue.
Let me just say, I often wake up in the middle of the night, just have to use the bathroom. We all know what that's like.
We're getting older. Our bladders are
This time I made
weaker.
it to 5 a.m.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's pretty good.
Particular morning.
You should actually feel very proud of yourself. You're usually waking up at 3:30 a.m.
in the bathroom saying, all right, I was getting a good night's sleep there. 5 a.m.'s not bad. I can still go back to sleep for a little while.
Right.
You know. So then
another 5 hours.
All right, let's not go there. Anyway, don't interrupt my trauma.
Okay.
So I usually leave the bathroom light on while I wash my hands at the sink. So like the
Oh, so you
the
can see
main
what you're
area
doing.
is dark still.
Right. So you're not.
But the bathroom light where
Yeah.
the toilet is
Sure.
still on.
Yeah.
So and I have to tell this part in slow motion.
Okay. In slow motion.
Washing my hands, finished up washing my hands. So
Oh,
I'm
so
like,
you were completely done with your deed in the
Yeah.
bathroom.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So this was your washing your hands.
wash my hands, standing
All right.
there right next to the bathroom with the light on. And I'm turned towards that with the towel. And then I see the biggest fucking spider. I mean, it's like tarantula size, only skinnier.
Yeah.
You know, and it goes, I don't know where it came from, like where it started from, could have been at my toes for all I know, but it goes across the tile floor of the toilet room under the scale.
Under our scale.
And I'm actually quite proud of this. I did not scream. I didn't make any noises. In fact, it was like, you know, that horror movie where the babysitter answers the phone and the policeman says the call is coming from inside the house. And then she's all,
Right.
and the horror, you know, violins kick in. Right.
Yeah.
So that's me.
So you were experiencing all of that.
Right.
By seeing this very large house spider.
So I'm
Folks,
practically hyperventilating.
We live in the Pacific Northwest, so there are no tarantulas, but there are very large
Just trying to paint a picture.
house spiders, and they can get quite large depending on their longevity.
Anyway, at this point, back away from the bathroom, realize that I cannot let it rest. That's not
Right.
one that can just say, it'll be okay. You will find it across the ceiling in the morning. It's
Right.
okay.
Right.
So I go to wake you up and it's 5 a.m. and it's a work day.
Tap, tap, tap.
Tap, tap, tap.
Honey.
Please don't be mad.
So I always love being woken up with those 3 words.
Fully expecting you to be angry with
Please don't
me.
be mad. That's 4 words. Please don't be mad. And
I need help.
yeah.
There's a situation. And I have to say,
Oh my goodness.
you were like my hero. You were my
well,
hero, hun,
whatever.
because you didn't even get upset with me for having woken you up.
No, as soon as you told me it was a spider, I was rolling my eyes. But, you know, I get you don't tend to over exaggerate
Right.
on these
There
kind
are,
of things.
I mean, some spiders, I could have let it go.
Right.
Or I have gotten spiders myself. I have taken care
Sure.
of. But no.
This was going to provide a large crunch and the possibility of it actually jumping at you out of anger or fear.
You had to pick the scale up, too.
Right. Yeah. So I went into the bathroom. I had to pick up said scale. And, you know, you've seen these memes going around on the internet lately that are jump scares, right? That you're watching just a normal video, la-da-da, somebody's unwrapping a present, and then they clip in this spider jumping out at you, you know, full size on the video, and it always makes you jump. Well, of course, that's the kind of thing that momentarily goes through your head when you're lifting up a scale, just not sure how big this really is, whether Jen is exaggerating or whether it's one of those really large house spiders.
Were you
And I
or
would
were
have
you
to
not
say,
impressed?
I would have to say that spider was easily the size of like a silver dollar. I would say that, you know, legs and all. It was, and it might have
Could
been
spread out farther than
Oh
that,
yeah, it
though.
could totally spread out. I would say in diameter, it was probably, I would say, 5 inches, about that size.
That's not 5 inches, hon.
Oh, very funny, Jen. Very funny.
I'm just saying.
It was like 6 inches. Here's what 6 inches is, dear. All right, but yes, it was very large.
Yeah.
So what did I do? I just wadded up a bunch of toilet paper.
You were a fucking man, honey.
Grabbed that fucker, squished it between my fingers. Folks, I am not a catch and release for spiders. I can go out in my backyard and I guarantee you there are thousands of spiders out there. So one less spider in the world tonight.
Nice.
Anyway, it was not your fantasy.
You were my hero. I even had to shout your praises on Facebook the next morning.
Yes, you did.
And that is how our week is going.
Right. The spider from hell. Spiderzilla. It was a big one. I expected
It was literally stomping across the floor.
It was. You could feel the ground shaking. It was so big.
Okay.
But are you feeling
My
better?
saga-
Are you feeling?
My saga is shared.
Have you experienced any like PTSD?
Yeah, like
after the fact?
day after, I would say it was limited to that. But yeah.
Have you been like looking under the bed for spiders or
No. we've got
fluffing the
those
covers
sticky
or
things.
Oh, well, yeah, we've got like spider traps that are like sticky, gooey things. But,
Not leaving it to chance, I'm telling you.
yeah. So, all right.
Okay,
well,
I'm glad I was able to share that and get that off my chest.
Again, just another shining example of my REM sleep getting disturbed when I was right in the middle of a tawdry sex dream.
Nice. You do dream a lot.
But it got me to thinking. I tend to have really vivid dreams.
You do,
and a lot and often, and yet you don't remember your dreams at all, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure I do dream. I mean, everybody dreams, right?
Right.
But
right.
I don't. It's notable if I remember a dream.
Right. And I don't know what really causes people to have the more vivid dreams. I think there's scientific study that has been done that it's during that deepest, REM sleep. Yes, REM sleep, like right? That's what it is during that that you have the most kind of lucid and vivid dreams. Mm-hmm. So I must have been right in the middle of my deepest REM sleep.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in instances like those, I can rarely go back to sleep.
And, right. I mean, that's like traumatic awakening.
once I'm up, I'm kind of up. But, it kind of got me thinking about, the vivid dreams and some of the misconceptions because...
like, did you eat liverwurst?
Right. Isn't that one of the old wives' tales or myths about dreaming is that if you eat, if you have something really strong or spicy for dinner, that it could cause a vivid dream. And there is actually, I started diving into this, just doing a little bit of personal research because, the internet is the most wonderful place in the world when you want to find out facts. Right?
Pardon me, I'm drinking to get over my spider
yeah, that's
problem.
actually a good idea. I'm going to have a little sippy as well.
Thank you for making my favorite new drink.
Oh yeah, what are we having tonight?
Peach drops.
Oh yes, peach drops. And folks, if you're interested in alcohol like we are, some of you might think we have a sickness, but I swear we moderate.
We make really yummy drinks.
And we make yummy drinks. And this one is no slouch when it comes to a tasty beverage. And let me tell you what's in it. So there's 4 ingredients. We use Deep Eddy Peach Vodka. This
Excellent
is key.
Stuff.
This is key.
Yeah.
I don't know how excellent it is.
Deep Eddy is the brand.
Deep Eddy is the brand. Eddy is EDDY. And you've probably seen them in the bars, your local bars and whatnot. Last year.
Saint Germain is the next thing.
Yep. Saint Germain.
Lemon juice. And just good old simple sugar. Simple
syrup. Simple syrup.
Pretty quick to pull this one together, huh?
Sure. Yeah. It's and this isn't one that I got the ingredients and pulled this one out of my butt.
We first had this one at Emery's.
And we were actually it was recently. It was for Valentine's Day.
It was at our non-Valentine's Day Valentine's Day.
Yeah, our non-Valentine's. Yeah, you said it. And I think one way that they were actually siphoning a lot of money off of the limited 25% capacity people was they had an amazing drink list with all kinds of new drinks.
We got to try that one. Oh, and we got to try that one.
Yeah, so we tried a bunch of different drinks, and then I took screenshots because, that's like any restaurant you go to now, they have the little QR code that you open up their menu online so they're not actually, using physical. Am I rambling? I am rambling, aren't I?
Was that my rambling signal?
Anyway, it's that circular motion you're doing with your hand and your finger right now. That's like kind of
trying to be subtle.
Get it going, Jim. So anyway, took a screenshot of the menu because there were so many great drinks.
Well, it lets us recreate because they list all the ingredients,
so,
not the amounts, but you're good at that.
Well, one of the things that Jen had really liked was this peach drop, and so you've got to get don't get a different peach vodka because it's just not the same. Deep Eddy actually infuses the vodka with real peach juice, so got to get that. Then the Saint Germain, and bear with us, folks. That's elderberry, right? Liqueur. It's a bit expensive. You can probably find a cheaper brand.
Buy a small bottle to try it out until you know you like it.
And then the lemon juice, and we use just the bottled lemon juice. You could use fresh, and then the simple syrup, and we're like talking about this for like the last 5 minutes. Anyway, here's the measurements, folks. Oh. It's 2 shots, right? 2 ounces of vodka, of the peach vodka, a half ounce of the Saint Germain, a half ounce of the simple syrup, and a nice healthy ounce of the lemon juice. And I tend to like things a little bit tartar, so I am heavy-handed with the lemon juice. Yeah, and then you just put it in a shaker with ice and shake the hell out of it until you get those wonderful little ice crystals.
Yes, I love that.
And then pour that in a martini glass, or today we made a double, so that's like 4 shots of the vodka and then all the other ingredients. And we put it on ice, because we wanted to come do the podcast.
I think it's okay that we did this little drink topic, sidebar. We used to start all our episodes with what you drinking.
Right. Yeah.
So.
And then we just, I don't know, did we get old of it, or did that just drop off, or we were just drinking really boring drinks?
Yeah, I think nothing new, but this one deserved to mention.
Yeah.
So, but we were talking about
dreams. Right? And since we were talking about food or certain things affecting dreams, and there's a fair bit of myth around what causes vivid dreams, I thought, wouldn't it be interesting to kind of look into what are some of the big misconceptions that we have about dreams. And so the first one that I saw, and I got this off of Mental Floss, so if you're familiar with Mental Floss website, look for the article. It's misconceptions about dreams for Mental Floss, but we'll just read them to you here on the podcast. Cool. So the first one here, related to food, obviously, food does not directly affect your dreams. Listen, I'm not the scientist here. We're not here to prove anything.
Right.
If you guys want to do research, dreams is
go down that rabbit hole.
Yes, it's a huge rabbit hole. But we're just here to relay some interesting facts and misconceptions about dreams on this episode.
All right.
So anyway, back to dreams and food. If you have a food intolerance, that could actually possibly add to something, but there has actually been no scientific proof that food affects dreams. So
that's a big myth then.
Yeah, that is a big myth, but anyway, yeah.
Here's one too that we were talking about kind of earlier about REM sleep.
Right.
People tend to think that dreams only happen during REM sleep. Mm-hmm. However, we dream all night long.
Sure. Yeah.
It's most likely that we only remember the dreams we have during the deeper REM sleep.
Sure.
Because those tend to be more exciting and vivid.
Right.
And non-REM dreams are less vivid and less emotional.
Right. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Another misconception is that dreams are entirely meaningless. But
I would never have said that.
Well, some people just are of the notion that they don't mean anything, and yet there are other people that are always trying to interpret dreams, right?
Sure, yeah.
And one way that dream researchers kind of look at it is that there are often reoccurring patterns that can reflect concerns that people have in their daily lives. So, dreams do mean something, but it's generally not what you expect it to do. It's not as deep.
All those dream interpretation books you can get, they're probably just bullshit because you can't go look in a book and say, oh, there was a bouquet of roses in my dreams. That means I'm going to get fired.
Right.
It's not.
Right. It's bullshit just as much as horoscopes are bullshit.
Right.
So
okay, you could have some people taking exception to that.
Oh, well, they can write me a nasty gram and quit listening to the podcast if you're offended. But anyway. I just think that, if you're feeling some sort of anxiety or stress in your daily life, don't be surprised at all if those emotions manifest themselves in some kind of, dream.
Totally agree.
So,
yeah.
You can manifest itself. You've had dreams where you show up to work naked, or maybe you fail a test and you feel this dread. That's that anxiety and stress that you are experiencing during your daily life.
Right.
It's manifesting.
Doesn't mean you're going to fail a test. It means there's anything you're stressed about.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I agree with that one.
Yeah.
Well, here's another misconception. People often think that if you remember your dream in the morning, that's a sign of having had a good night's sleep.
Oh, okay.
But that's not entirely true.
No.
In fact, people with a poor night's sleep are more likely to remember their dreams.
Oh,
so
okay.
which category do you fall under?
I don't know.
Because you're a dream rememberer.
I fall asleep immediately.
Yes, you do.
And, I think we'll cover this a little bit further down here in the episode. But I think that your REM, it's proven that your REM sleep happens in the morning, in the morning hours from, I don't know, like 3 to 6 or whatever, is when you're getting deep sleep. And again, I'm no expert, so, you can correct me if I'm wrong.
No.
But that's why sometimes you wake up after this REM sleep ends and everything seems so vivid to you.
That makes sense. Yeah.
So I could still go to bed at midnight or 2, and at some point that REM sleep is going to hit, close to my traditional wake up time. And that's when I'm going to have those heavy duty dreams anyway.
That's you.
Okay. Well, some people think they don't dream simply because they can't remember ever dreaming, but that's a huge misconception because there is proof that everybody dreams.
Right. Yeah, and I think that that's more the category that I fall under because, like I said earlier, I very rarely remember details of any dreams I've had.
And that's weird not to wake up and kind of remember dreams, but I often ask you about it, and no, there's nothing that I remember, so that's interesting. Here's an interesting one. Some people believe that your dreams can actually kill you. You've heard that, right?
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
There's that's movies about it.
Utter bullshit.
Total bullshit, okay.
In case you did not know this, it's bullshit. Dying in your dreams does not mean that you will die in real life.
I mean, that makes sense.
I've never personally died in my dream, I don't think. Not that I ever remember. I can remember being in extreme peril, but, never dying. So I don't know. Maybe there is some truth there. Anyway, dying in your dreams usually signifies a major life change, like a job or breaking up with somebody or, just big, huge
Another
monumental
one of those
things.
Stressful situations,
yes,
maybe.
Very, very stressful. So that can bring on that dying in your dreams.
Here's another misconception, although I don't know if I'd call this a misconception. There's no proof that dreams are premonitions.
Right. And
who thinks that? I mean, none of us are psychic.
Is there premonition? No, there's no proof of that.
Sure.
Are we connected? No. I would guess that most scientists would say that it was just a strange coincidence that, two people would have a very similar dream.
Right.
So anyway.
Well, here's one last misconception. There's been a lot of study on lucid dreaming.
Right. Especially recently. There's been
the ability to control your dreams during REM sleep.
Yeah.
So that's interesting.
Yeah.
It's not been proven, despite the fact that you can feel aware or present in your dream.
Yeah.
Actually having the ability to control the dream from inside has not been proven.
Yeah.
Yet.
But there's been a recent study, and, listeners, you can go out, you can look it up yourself. But I would say within the last year, there's been a lot of research done on lucid dreaming and the ability to, mentally prepare yourself for the dream of the evening, while you're in bed and you're laying there and you are,
right.
you're what do you call that? You're
meditating.
Meditating, right? I don't meditate before I go to sleep, but some people do. And they tell themselves, hey, tonight in my dream, if I have this, very vivid, lucid dreaming, when I'm present in that, I'm going to make these choices and I'm going to control the dream and pull the levers.
Dream about Ryan Reynolds. Dream about Ryan Reynolds. Dream about Ryan Reynolds.
You go for that. We'll talk about sex and dreams a little bit later.
Okay.
But anyway, let's move on. Is this a fun topic? Are you enjoying it?
Oh,
Okay.
Totally.
I thought it was interesting. I've always wondered about dreams. Like I said, I've always had very vivid dreams. I've had reoccurring dreams. I have had these really strange dreams where I hear voices. They're very, very vivid. Very hard to explain. So my dream life has always been very active, and I've always been very, very interested in that.
Attest to that for sure.
And anyway, found some multiple articles, obviously, and I just kind of pulled them all together and pulled out 25 really kind of interesting facts about dreams. So you and I can just kind of go through these fairly quickly.
All right. Let's do it.
Number one, we're kicking it off here, that you forget 90% of your dreams. And I believe that. I mean, good
that's
grief.
me, right?
Anytime that I have a vivid dream, by the end of the day, I don't remember what it was about.
Mm-hmm. Here's number two. Blind people also dream. They just don't see visuals. They have vivid dreams involving their other senses, such as smell, sound, touch, and emotion.
And I found this phenomenal and interesting. And of course, of course they would dream that because those are the senses that are heightened in them. But that they would, I would love to have like a dream where I would smell things. Well, food. How's that? I don't want to smell some of the odors that go floating around in the middle of the night.
Happy smells only.
Another interesting fact is that, of course, everybody dreams, even if you don't remember them. That everybody has dreams at one point or another.
Right. Mm-hmm. Another one. In our dreams, we only see faces that we already know.
And I have to kind of clarify that. It's not maybe folks that you know personally, but the article that I was reading went on to
faces
state.
That you've seen, maybe?
Yes, that's exactly. And just imagine that.
Celebrities and stuff.
Well, every time you go to the grocery store, you're going to see people that you've never seen before.
Right.
But your subconscious registers some of those faces, and they may show up.
So if you're dreaming and there's a crowd of people, you're not going to see individual faces necessarily.
Not necessarily, but anybody that you would come into contact with in your dream is somebody that you have met previously before.
Interesting.
Your mind doesn't make up new people, is basically what that's saying. So that's interesting. No big surprise here. Dreams are very symbolic. I skipped one, didn't I?
It's okay.
Yeah, why don't you hit that one? Dreams are very symbolic. Duh.
Makes sense.
Yep.
And then also, next one, not everybody dreams in color. About 12% of people dream in black and white.
Yeah, and I didn't.
How depressing would that be?
That would be kind of depressing. It'd be like watching The Wizard of Oz before it switched from sepia tone to color. But that's interesting, and I didn't dig any deeper into that. But that's a significant number of people that dream in black and white.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. The most common emotion experienced in dreams, guess what? Anxiety.
Oh, I totally believe that.
Yeah. I would think
people are going to have anxiety dreams way more often than they're going to have, joy dreams.
Right. Well, I wonder where arousal actually falls into that category, because if the most
that's
common
a kind of anxiety,
sexual anxiety,
happy anxiety.
Right. But anyway, the most common emotion is anxiety.
Yeah. That's the world we live in.
And did you know that you could have up to 4 to 7 dreams a night?
That makes sense if you're getting a decent night of sleep.
I guess so, man. I can only ever usually remember one that's very impactful, and let alone 4 to 7.
Yeah.
So
I believe it though.
Yeah.
And I love this one. Animals dream too.
Yes.
Which we know.
Yep.
Watch our doggy, running in his sleep. His little legs are moving, and sometimes the little whimpers will happen.
We have a small dog. We've always had small dogs. And at one point we had 3 small dogs, and every single one of them would sleep up on the bed with us. So imagine 3 small dogs, and that's why we have a king-size bed. But anyway, Teddy, our lone dog that is still with us, he does sleep up on the bed, and they'll be in the middle of the night. He will get super, super twitchy. And you always debate, should I wake the dog up? Is he having a bad dream, or is he having a good dream? And I guess I always kind of probably lean towards the not waking him up and letting him,
Yeah, I usually just pet him a little bit.
Let him know that everything's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you know, this is an interesting one, did you know that during REM sleep, there is a mechanism in your body that it actually paralyzes you?
No.
So when you are dreaming
run off the building?
Yes. So you don't flail around. When you're having that very active, vivid, lucid dreaming, the body just automatically kind of locks itself in place. And I find that super interesting.
I bet there's people that are exceptions to that, where they have some sort of sleep disorder, and that's when, they go and have those sleep studies done and all that nonsense.
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense.
Here's another interesting one. An unusually high percentage of people believe that dreams can be precognitive.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, that's kind of what we were talking about earlier is, the ability to predict, things from your dreams. And, you may believe it, but there isn't any proof that actually happens.
No, it's just says a lot of people believe you can, but we saw earlier that that's a misconception.
Right. And here's something funny. Did you know that when you're dreaming, your dreams, your mind will incorporate things that our senses may pick up on while you're sleeping, right?
Okay, right.
Such if you're farting next to me, my dream might interpret.
I don't fart.
my dream might interpret or incorporate the fart into my dream, or even the smell. I might have this,
Especially, you better worry if you're blind. You're going to get the full-on smell. No, what's interesting about that, too, is that, like, say you're having a bad dream and you're flailing around and somebody's trying to wake you up. Mm-hmm. And I always read in books, that, somebody hears a name calling or somebody calling their name, and it's probably the person calling their name to wake up.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Sure, yeah. I'll buy that. But anyway, I mean, if there was music or some noise or, thunder, you may not necessarily be woken up from that, but your subconscious will actually incorporate that into the dream if you're having a dream. So that was pretty interesting.
Here's another one. Mm-hmm. Men and women dream differently.
Okay, well, I guess that doesn't surprise me, but
about 70% of the characters in men's dreams are male.
Okay.
70%. While the characters in women's dreams are usually equally men and women.
Okay.
50-50.
Well, that's interesting.
So
That's an interesting
it's
fact.
random and they don't say why, but I thought that was interesting.
Yeah. Okay. Another strange little fact is that if you're snoring, then you cannot be dreaming.
Okay.
That's interesting.
I have input there. Mm-hmm. You snore so much of the night.
That's okay.
How can you be such a dreamer if you snore so much?
I have no idea. And I could say
ponder.
the same to you.
No.
Yes.
Moving on.
Mm-hmm.
You can experience an orgasm during your dream. I mean,
no comment.
that makes me think of puberty, right?
Well, sure, yeah.
For boys especially.
I think that's probably a given that you may experience those. I mean, that's the big topic, right? Is wet dreams. Mm-hmm. You've heard about that, and certainly.
All right, a little factoid there.
Yeah, I think
Next, honey.
Mm-hmm. Longer dreams occur in the morning. Okay.
All right.
Swell.
Recurring dreams have themes.
Sure. Yes.
Animals, monsters, fighting, falling, being chased.
Yep, I had a reoccurring dream, as I think you did.
I did, yeah.
Growing up.
One that I do remember.
Mm-hmm. And mine was crazy. I would, it was being chased. I would be chased into this old kind of haunted house, and there was somebody in a rocking chair, and I think it was like a grandmother rocking back and forth, kind of gesturing me for, I was like, where should I go? Where should I go? That person gave me direction, and this monster was still chasing me, and I'd go down these long hallways.
Did you see the monster?
Kind of. And then how I would get out of it every single time, there was a big long slide out of the house from the second story that I would get in that, and the monster was not able to chase me down the slide, and then I would wake up.
That's interesting.
I had that dream a dozen times or more, when I was a kid, and of course I would wake up completely, shocked and scared, but always, every time I've had a nightmare like that, there is nothing sweeter than waking up and realizing that it was just a dream.
Yeah.
So what was your recurring?
So,
do you remember?
I do, and it's much more, I guess, cerebral and nebulous than the specifics that you have for yours. I mean, it's images like I don't see myself. It's like I'm watching a movie, but there's like a sidewalk with the wind blowing dried leaves across it. It's totally quiet, like you're waiting for a storm to start. The sky is dark and stormy.
Sure.
And then it's more of a feeling than seeing. total blackness, like creeping up behind me. Like I know that this big, dark, bad thing is coming for me.
Yeah.
And it's just like I'm standing there dreading.
Yeah.
So it's not, I don't remember running or being chased or there any visible monster, just this horrible, horrible feeling of dread.
Sure.
And that's, this is something I had as a kid and would happen. And I don't know like what my life was in real life at that point, or because I had it over years. And it would recur. And did I have that dream just for no reason, or when I was stressed out by life? It's not like I had a stressful.
Do you
life.
remember when it stopped? I mean, do you remember when you stopped? When was the last time you had that?
I don't remember having it as an adult. So it was definitely a childhood thing.
And I'm sure there's lots of research you could do about the difference between childhood dreams, that you would have as opposed to those as adults. Because quite frankly, the reoccurring dream that I had, it probably died off, by my late teens.
Yeah.
Because certainly as I became an adult, I don't really remember ever having that dream again. I've had other night terrors, but not that particular reoccurring dream.
Yeah, no, I'm grateful that dream did not continue.
Right.
I mean, kid or not, the level of, horrible feelings that you get when you are woken up from a dream like that. I mean, I remember calling for my mom.
Right.
To get me over it.
I think the message here is low stress. If you have a stress-free life, you're going to end up having happy
Let's
dreams.
diffuse some essential oils while we sleep.
Just low stress. Hey, man, smoke some ganja, relax, Anyway.
Agree.
Let's move on to something a little more titillating.
Okay.
And let's talk about sex and dreaming and how those two things are tied together.
Okay.
What do you think about that? I'm using my sexy voice.
Noticed.
Is it working?
Yes.
All right, boys. This is for you, men. The women cannot not identify with morning wood.
Right.
This
is true.
This is true. Morning wood is a thing.
Morning wood.
And is that where I add the little boing sound effect?
Please do it. Do it.
So morning wood has nothing to do with sexy dreams or stimulation, just in case there was any question.
Okay.
There was an actual thing called nocturnal penile tumescence.
Oh, so scientific.
And I didn't even bother looking that up because I think morning wood is a lot better term for
Everybody knows what that means.
Yeah.
Everybody.
But guys, if you wake up with a boner, doesn't usually have anything to do with sexy
you were
dreams or
dreaming
stimulation.
about.
Yes.
Or who's next to you.
And here's what's interesting. That nocturnal penile tumescence causes men to have 3 to 5 erections every night.
Wow.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
So, some of them can last up to even 30 minutes long.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Boing. So, ladies.
What
Anyway. Morning wood. There's some facts
All
for
right.
you, gents.
Well, here's a women's one. Women can have wet dreams.
Ooh,
Sexual
la la.
dreams can cause arousal and even orgasms. Kind of already went over that one, but
Yeah. Did you want to talk about that at all
it's all
anymore,
right.
Jen?
No.
Did you want to talk about?
I mean, why would it be different for women than men?
Right.
It's just the equipment is different. So.
Sure. Right. Okay. Well, that leads to believe that sex dreams are about one thing: sex. Duh.
Duh.
Oh, thanks, Board Panda.
Well, and also only 4% of men and women dreams. Only 4% of men and women's dreams are about sex.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
it's not
it's
like we're
very,
all
very-
dreaming about sex all the time.
Okay. Well, maybe you aren't, but
Well.
anyway.
That's an average.
Right. And then, sleep position does matter. So here's another
Okay,
little
lay this one on me.
factoid. Yeah. So you're more likely to dream about sex if you sleep face down. This information is worth the price of admission right now. Well, free.
What are you
don't have
getting
to
at,
pay
honey?
for. Listen, you want to dream about sex?
right.
Sleep face down.
We know what you're doing tonight,
Right.
listeners.
I'm gonna. I thought you were talking to me. Yes,
You
gonna
too,
be
honey.
sleeping face down. Anyway.
All right. Yeah, you're right. Price of admission. There you go.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
That's today's handy tip for our listeners from Uncle Jim and Aunt Jen here at Disturbin the Burbs. If you want to have sex dreams, folks, sleep face down.
And who wouldn't?
How many of you guys are going to actually sleep face down tonight?
We are so posting a poll after this episode airs.
Right. I'm going to guess 90% of our listeners are actually going to sleep face down tonight. So anyway, there you go.
Oy.
Yes, oi is right.
Here's one. Men dream about variety. Men dream of sex with multiple partners 2 times more than women.
Well, okay. Well,
whatever.
There you go. All right.
Why am I not surprised by that?
Yeah, there's no argument there. And finally, women dream about celebrities. You mentioned Ryan Reynolds earlier, didn't you? Women are 2 times as likely to have sex dreams about public figures than compared to men.
Okay. So earlier I did say that I don't tend to remember my dreams. But
Here
one
we go,
of my
folks.
few dreams that I do remember was the one time I had a sex dream about John Mayer.
John Mayer.
I know. Random. I mean, I like him as a musician, but I don't find him particularly sexy. But, you know, I remember so few of my dreams that one, you know, stood out.
Well, the rumor about him is that he's hung like a horse.
Okay, well,
So,
I see. Probably did not know that. And it wasn't even like, I mean, you don't need to hear about this. It wasn't like actually having sex. It was like him like coming on to me.
that was it? He was just coming on to you?
I mean, you know, there's more details than that, but it wasn't.
Come on,
it wasn't like we were like in bed getting it on.
But what was happening?
It's like lead up, you know, the lead up.
Were you and I married when you had this dream about John Mayer?
I possibly. It was a long time ago.
Am I going to have to...
Well, we did go see him together in concert.
Yeah, early on. Very early on. Bonus fact, sleep sex is real.
Well, shit, I have something to contribute here, too.
It's called sexomnia. Not insomnia, but sexomnia. It's actually a sleep disorder, much like sleepwalking, except instead of walking, a person engages in sexual behavior like masturbation or intercourse while sleeping.
Okay, well, I haven't done that, but it did make me think of another story. And it was a one-time thing, not like a disorder. I don't have a sex disorder. You probably don't even remember this. It was like when we were first dating and we were sleeping in the same bed.
Were we married yet?
No.
Oh, we were living in sin.
Anyway, apparently we were both sound asleep and I did the reach around on you. Touchy, touchy. And you were all clutching your pearls. It's like, what are you doing? I'm trying to sleep. I'm asleep.
That is so unlike me. I dispute that.
I totally grabbed you there in the middle of the night. And
I vaguely remember
you got mad and I
got mad.
You did. You were like, what is this girl that I'm dating groping me in the middle of the night? Who are you? And do I want to continue dating you? And I'm all, I was asleep. I won't do it again.
It's just because you'd never had anything like that before.
Yes.
And
Anyway,
you wanted to get yourself some
it
more.
never happened again. Never happened again.
Okay.
So you're just learning all sorts of things about Jenny this week. I'm done.
But that's pretty interesting anyway. Sleep masturbation. I'd want to be awake for that. You know, that's no fun if you're doing it in your dreams or in your sleep. Anyway. Have we had enough about dreams?
Yes.
Should we move on to our favorite topics on pop culture?
Watch list.
Yes, the
We need a
watch and
jingle for
listen
that.
list. Yeah, we got to get around to doing something like that. But we watched a bunch of stuff over the last couple weeks since
As
we
usual.
recorded a last episode, and we had some highlights here that we wanted to share with you guys. Some good, some not so good, but
Agree,
you know,
yes.
that's life. You watch some shit and you watch some great stuff.
Yeah.
But let's start off with something really shitty.
Okay. Sorry to say.
Right. Wonder Woman 84 has been around for quite a while, and we'd heard lots of negative reviews, a few positive ones, and we decided, hey, what the hell, let's just get around to watching it. And so we actually paid for this one, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, we treat it like a movie night.
I would think that the reviews, or the personal reviews from friends and family, were pretty accurate. It was way too long for the subject matter.
Yeah.
Kristen Wiig's in it. She plays a villain called, I think it's Cheetah. Isn't that right?
It sounds right. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, and then Pedro Pascal, he's another villain. And you know, for those of you that are really big fans of The Mandalorian, like we are, Pedro Pascal is the Mandalorian. He's the guy.
In this one, you can see his face.
Yeah, and also he was in Game of Thrones. I remember he was a character that the mountain gouged his eyes out when they were. What was that?
Sorry.
Did you bonk your head?
Headphone hitting.
Ah, okay. Anyway, you know.
There's one positive.
Yes.
The invisible jet.
Oh, yeah.
Is in this movie.
Yeah. The invisible jet makes an appearance. The other thing that I thought was fun and interesting was the timeline, right, and the setting, because they showed super malls.
Oh yeah, they
that
did
were
a
very
great job
popular in the 80s. The clothing was spot on.
Yeah.
The soundtrack was great. There was
Yeah.
a lot of good songs that I heard that we'll actually talk about a little bit later.
Agree.
But anyway, you know, folks, watch it if you're curious. Wait till it's free. Don't pay for this like we did on demand.
Yep, needs to be free.
Yeah, it's just not really worth spending whatever we spent, $6 on it or whatever.
Yeah.
And then, hey, we watched this sad travesty.
Did you even really watch with me?
I kind of a little bit here and there, you know.
I'm usually a pretty big awards show fan,
sure.
and I was all excited to watch the Golden Globes.
Yes, you were, because normally they're a lot of fun to watch.
Red carpet and all that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, especially because my Schitt's Creek people were all up for awards.
Yep.
So I was excited to watch, and you know, red carpet and all. It was just so sad from the very beginning. I mean, the red carpet, you know, normally I'm switching back and forth between the network that's going to air the show and E-networks for all the dresses and
Right,
interviews.
because they show different stuff.
But nobody was there in person. You know, all the interviewers were like talking with people on screens, like, you know, like Zoom or whatever.
Right.
And then when I was switching back and forth between channels, it was like the same 8 people
Right. That's the one thing I did notice, that it was all the same folks being interviewed.
on NBC and then on E.
On E,
So they were
right.
obviously just going back and forth. And literally it was like 8 different people. I mean,
Yeah.
it wasn't the hundreds or whatever, the dozens of people and celebrities.
Sign of the times, right?
So then the show starts.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, all of the awards and the categories were the same. So, you know, you're getting the same effect of all the shows and celebrities winning awards. And they had to just have their screenshots, their Zoom, you know, screens when it was their category. And you saw their smiles. And then whoever won got zoomed up to the big screen, and they got to give their speech.
Mm-hmm.
But like they're in studio, it was 20, 30 tables really far apart. And the people that were sitting at the tables were first responders.
Right.
So no celebrities in audience, just, you know, I mean, of course that was a nice gesture to have the first responders there,
Sure.
but so dramatically different from how the Golden Globes usually goes.
Sure.
And it was just depressing.
Yeah.
Plus, one more point to make. Half of the shows and movies that were winning awards, I hadn't even ever heard of.
Sure.
Because we're not getting movies in the theater here. And apparently not everything is coming to on demand.
Right.
And so it's like, okay, so that sounds like a movie that will maybe
Bunch of stuff we didn't care
get to
about.
see sometime. Yeah.
Right.
Schitt's Creek did win 2 of the 3 that I wanted to win. So
Okay. Well, that's a good thing. All right. So big pan on the Golden Globes this year,
Not
but you know,
sure.
that's the pandemic, and
At
that's
Oscars is probably going to be the same.
sure.
so-
I probably will not check in. I thought Golden Globes was a piece of shit this year,
Yeah.
and I'm expecting the Oscars to be a piece of shit this year as well. So, yeah. Well, whatever. I'm marginally invested in it whenever it is on anymore.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Anyway, another big home run as far as I'm concerned. So if you're streamers like we are, we love our Apple TV and all the streaming services. So Discovery Plus.
We went in early on that.
Yep, has started their own streaming service, and part of that is the Magnolia Network, which is Chip and Joanna from what was the show?
Fixer Upper.
Fixer Upper, and we love them. So they've started their own network, and there's a bunch of different shows. And actually, our friend and listener Jill recommended this show, and it's called The Lost Kitchen. Now, Jen and I are fans of cooking shows and
we
food
love cooking shows. We love home improvement shows.
Yep.
This is like a lifestyle
Yep.
cooking show.
And this one was really interesting because it's this restaurant that's located up in Freedom, Maine, and the chef and owner of this is somebody that has a great backstory. She's been through a lot, and through adversity has created this restaurant.
Farm to table.
Yes, very much
local.
Very local.
All women.
All women, which is really, really cool. But the only way that you can get a reservation is through a lottery system every April.
Yeah.
You, as a potential patron of the Lost Kitchen, send in a postcard stating your case of why you deserve a slot during their season.
Yeah.
And their dining season is like late spring through the late summer, early fall, when all the fresh produce and all the fishermen are going out and getting all kinds of fresh fish and clams and lobsters I didn't know that
they partner with all the local, boutique farms. It's just amazing.
Yeah, for meats. So, grass-fed cows and pigs and everything.
And they're going out there cutting celery from the organic farmer.
Right.
It's all very,
It's very, very interesting. I just love the story of it, how it's filmed. It's top
beautifully
quality.
filmed.
Yes,
yeah.
very beautifully filmed. And, this... they had one episode right before COVID started.
Yeah, their debut episode is all about setting up, her backstory and how these meals come together.
Right, and then the very next episode is COVID hits.
Yeah, so this isn't what they intended their season to be about.
Right, and there's only 6 episodes in this particular season, and it's pretty... I don't even know if amazing, but it's super insightful.
Well, it ends up being a great overarching story.
Right. It's how they're surviving during the pandemic and able to still do what they're passionate about, because it's not just a job for these folks, right?
Yeah.
It's you can tell that it's a real passion.
Yeah.
Yes. And so it just follows. So, folks,
definitely it's a recommendation.
If you've got Discovery Plus, and just go look for the Magnolia Network, look for the Lost Kitchen. I think it's fantastic.
Agree.
So I really appreciate that one.
And then recently, just the other night, Carter requested that we watch the new Disney movie, Raya and the Last Dragon.
Right. And that's fairly new, so we aren't here to add spoilers. We just want to talk a little bit about it. One, it's $30. Yeah. So even if you subscribe to Disney Plus, you're going to be paying an extra $30 for this one.
But if you're desperate to spend time with your 15-year-old son,
right.
Maybe worth it.
Yeah, listen. I pay more for that if I went to the theater and bought 3 tickets
and that's
for
how we
Brendan.
look at it.
Yes,
yeah.
Right. But some interesting notes about this one. Adele Lim, Raya's screenwriter, also developed the screenplay for one of our other favorite movies, Crazy Rich Asians.
Oh, okay. Very different style,
right.
obviously.
But anyway, that's a little bit of fun fact for you.
Yeah.
Also, the actual last dragon, Sisu, in the movie is voiced by Awkwafina. Which,
we could tell that right away.
Right. Which is...
She has a very distinct voice.
Very alto-ish.
Yeah, raspy kind of.
Yes, so she's a stand-up comedian, and she was also in Crazy Rich Asians.
Yeah. So Raya took more than 3 years to develop and produce, which is not surprising for an animation.
Not surprising, but it does take a long time. So, and this is Disney's first animation film since 2006, not to involve John Lasseter.
Oh.
And John Lasseter brought a lot to Pixar. Obviously, started up Pixar with Jobs and whoever else was involved in that product. But when the whole Me Too movement came out, yep, folks came out of the woodwork and had some not nice things to say about John Lasseter and his behavior in the workplace.
Yeah.
And therefore he resigned from not only Pixar but from the head of Disney Animation.
Yeah.
So he is no longer with that organization. So anyway,
And there you go.
Thought that was interesting. I think they did a pretty fine job without John Lasseter at the helm.
Oh yeah, it was beautifully filmed or animated.
Animated, yes.
So the next two are also Carter oriented.
Right.
It was a good week for spending time with him.
Yep.
But I have to say one is a thumbs up and one is not for me.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay. Do I get a guess which one was a thumbs up and which one wasn't?
Yes.
I am going to guess that, and the two movies that Jen is talking about, there's one called Boss Level, that's on Hulu. We'll get into that in a little bit. And then there's Monster Hunter, which I think we found that on demand, right, with Xfinity?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's just kind of a fairly new release that's out there within the last couple of months, I think. But in that one stars Mila Jovovich from... modeling fame and Fifth Element.
Fame.
So I'm going to guess when you say you liked one and you didn't like one, I'm going to guess that you liked Monster Hunter.
Oh, you're so wrong.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That was a horrible dirge of a movie.
Oh, okay.
I mean, there's hardly any dialogue. All it is gross bugs and killing. And the other one was way more entertaining.
Okay. I was just thinking that, I know that you like the kaiju movies, Godzilla and the other ones that we've watched.
This one was so gross.
Okay.
It's just gross.
Yeah. All right.
Apparently it was based on a video game, and Carter quite enjoyed the parallels between the actual video game.
We were getting commentary throughout the whole movie and on the
that's
parallels.
accurate.
Yes, between the video game
those
and
weapons. They use that weapons that look like a game.
Yep. So, and then he was going on and on about how realistic the CGI monsters are and how great they looked. And one thing that was interesting about this movie, though, is that they really wanted that kind of unique landscape. So they filmed the majority of it in South Africa and Namibia.
So very deserty.
Very deserty.
Yeah.
And another little fun fact is this is Mila Jovovich's 7th movie based on video games.
Oh, she's found her niche then.
Well, I know she was in the Resident Evil, and this one. I think there must be another one in there somewhere that she was in.
There's several Resident Evil movies.
Right,
so
but I don't think that
that's...
there's 6 of them.
No.
Maybe not. I don't know. Anyway.
All right, so that's the
you
one I
liked
didn't
Boss
like.
Level then, huh?
Yeah, that was really fun.
Okay, yeah, that was a good one.
So,
and let me say, who's in this is Frank Grillo, and Frank Grillo was in where we remembered him and recognized him from was Captain America, Winter Soldier, and Civil War. Captain America, Civil War. He wasn't in the original Captain America.
I just know he's in a few of them.
But yeah, he's in that. Naomi Watts, and then I have been on the fence of whether to watch any Mel Gibson movies because he's one of those guys that he's a little bit of a dirtbag in real life.
I don't want to be a patron of his movies.
Right.
So we watched this despite him being in it.
Right. And then of course the biggest surprise appearance in this was by an actor named Will Sasso. And I remember years ago watching him on Mad TV. And so he showed up in this movie as kind of a thug and bodyguard of Mel Gibson's. And so it was kind of interesting to see him, and actually a welcome surprise to see him in this movie. So anyway,
I don't remember who it is.
And Boss Level, we can give it a little bit of it away, can't we?
Yeah, I mean, even just by saying it's a Groundhog Day
Right.
concept of the guy repeating the same day over and over.
Yeah.
And how it comes about. I mean, he's got to solve a mystery basically to save the world.
Right. So that's kind of in an overarching,
it's not just
it's not a spoiler.
to realize something about himself.
Right.
Like in Groundhog Day. In this case, he's got to solve the mystery of what to do to save the world. And, quite exciting. So Boss Level, like in a video game, it gets harder and harder, and you have to reach the end of the game, you have to defeat the boss level.
Right.
That's what he's doing. I mean,
there were definitely some light parallels between that and the Edge of Tomorrow with Tom Cruise. And,
the alien where he repeats every day.
Yeah, and so where he had to repeat over and over.
He has to die to start the day over.
And
that's
totally very, very similar to what has to happen here in Boss Level. Is he gets he gets killed a lot.
Yeah.
Or, kills himself. But anyway.
Really entertaining, though.
His son shows up in this movie, the main character, and it's actually played by Frank Grillo's real son in real life.
I totally did not see that.
Yeah, Rio Grillo plays his son in the movie, so that was really kind of interesting.
Super cool.
And then
that's cool.
Yeah, then a couple more just small roles by Michelle Yeoh. She was in Crazy Rich Asians as well, and obviously tons of other movies. And then Ken Jeong, we love Ken.
Yeah, yeah. A lot of comedy actors.
Yeah, he's most recently in The Masked Singer, but he's one of our favorites.
Character actor.
Oh, what's that one where the bachelor party in Vegas? What's that one called? I can't remember. Justin Bartha.
It's not just called The Bachelor Party.
It's
The Hangover.
The Hangover, right. And Ken Jeong's role in that is hilarious.
Totally.
And then there was a cameo by football star Rob Gronkowski. And so he was in that. And
Carter liked this one too. He gave it 2 thumbs up.
Yeah, he really liked that one. So, there's a couple of fun action.
Some family movies.
Yeah.
Teen family movies.
That we're recommending.
Don't
Let your
5-year-old watch Monster.
One last little additional plug. We've actually brought this show up before, but season 1 just wrapped up, and we watched the last 4 episodes. And I was kind of holding off. I wasn't quite sure whether or not I wanted to continue on with this show, but those last 4 episodes
we binged them all at once.
We binged them all at once. They were just over the top, and it really pulled me back in. And now I can't wait until Big Sky season 2 comes around.
Yeah. Well, I like that the storyline wrapped up so nicely.
Yeah.
And while there are characters that'll continue on, it'll be like a new phase, a new case kind of.
New case, right? Absolutely.
I like that.
And I would just say, if you haven't heard us talk about Big Sky before, I think we can kind of reveal that it centers around some girls that were kidnapped.
Yeah, human trafficking kind of kidnapping ring.
In small town Montana.
Yeah.
Big Sky, that's why it's called that.
Yeah.
And everything that kind of just...
great characters.
There's some great characters in this. So that really kind of wraps up our watch list.
I had one more that didn't get written down.
Okay.
And it's also like Big Sky. It's a show we've been watching for a while called New Amsterdam.
Oh, right.
And I just wanted to mention, if you do watch this show or if you haven't watched the show, the first episode of season 3, which just came out, and it's the first one where it's post-COVID. So, and it's a hospital show set in New York.
Yeah.
And it's not, they were hit so hard.
It's not post-COVID, but it's post the big, huge explosion on the other side of the big, huge wave of
not
COVID.
A ton of serial shows have incorporated COVID. I mean,
in this manner.
This Is Us shows a lot of COVID. 911, those shows show a lot of COVID and mask wearing.
Right.
But I just wanted to mention this one because the first 10 minutes is almost like a montage of what New York went through during the first big explosion.
It was just a vignette into
tough
it.
To see all the first responders and the red spots on their faces from the masks rubbing, and it just really gave a picture of what they went through. And it was rough to watch, but
I thought it was pretty amazing. And for those of you that either are first responders that happen to listen to our show, or if you know somebody, family or friends that are first responders, and maybe you don't know exactly what they've been going through and you've only heard little bits of stories here and there, I think
it brings it home.
It brings it home, that first 10 minutes of the newest episode of New Amsterdam. So yeah, definitely dive in and watch that one. I thought it was really, really interesting and good. Yeah. So anyway, hey, on to music.
Let's talk about music.
Yeah. These are the things that are the constants in our life, watching shit on TV and listening to music.
Yeah.
And so, one of the things that, one of the songs that made the list this week is a classic. And it was a snippet. I just heard a snippet from Wonder Woman 84, and I was like, oh my God, I love this song. And it starts out, I, relax,
Who's talking now?
Yeah, Frankie, Frankie goes to Hollywood.
Yeah.
Yes, love that song. So for those of you that haven't heard that we have a Spotify music playlist,
rather than listening to me singing it,
right?
Karaoke that one.
We've added all these songs that we're going to talk about to our Spotify music playlist. If you don't realize that we have one, go out to Spotify and look for Disturbin the Burbs, and you'll see our music playlist. So the next one on that list, Elle King and Miranda Lambert have a new song out. Now, we've been following Elle King for, gosh.
I karaoke a couple of hers.
Yeah, a good couple of years, 2-3 years. So anyway, she paired up with Miranda Lambert, and they've got a song called Drunk, and it's awesome. It's
fun.
great. It's a very fun song.
Yeah. How'd you find that one?
That one I follow Elle King on Instagram,
cool.
Because I'm also a fan of Rob Schneider,
right?
Saturday Night Live alumni, and he also has a podcast, or did. I don't know if it's even around anymore. Said, what was it called? Anyway, I can't remember the name of his podcast. But anyway, we knew that Elle King, fun fact, that her dad is Rob Schneider from all the movies with Adam Sandler. He tends to be in a lot of his movies, and some of his own, some older ones like what was it, the Gigolo one, Deuce Bigelow, male Gigolo.
He's a good comedy actor.
Yeah, he's a good comedy.
I think my favorite of him is his side character in 50 First Dates.
Sure, yeah, that one's a good one. Anyway, his daughter, Elle King, great musician. Very fun.
Yeah, the drunk. Oh, I wish I had some of the lyrics written down. It's a fun one. Definitely,
it's definitely a good one. Next one on the list is the Meat Puppets, and Meat Puppets have been around a long time. And there's this genre called cowpunk. And actually, I have a friend of mine, Morgan, who is DJ King Blind, and he has this show
his own podcast.
Oh gosh, I can't. And I'm going to be terrible here because I can't remember the name of his podcast. But anyway, look for DJ King Blind, and that'll lead you to Morgan's podcast. Cool. And it's all music. And he did an episode on cowpunk, and so I put a cowpunk song on here called "Backwater" by the Meat Puppets. And you may like, the Meat Puppets. I guarantee you've heard this song before.
Okay.
Right? So anyway, another one,
a classic,
and you and I were walking around Everett.
Is that where this one came
downtown Everett, and I think we had gone to Seattle Lighting to find a new light for our kitchen table, and then we decided to go into this home goods store that we like. I can't remember the name of it specifically, but it's in Everett, and they have a lot of really cool, interesting home decor items.
Right.
And on top of that, they're always playing great music in there. And so I tend to Shazam a lot as we're walking around looking at stuff. And this time it was Ella Fitzgerald and Louis Armstrong and their song Tenderly. So I've added that to the playlist.
Now, when I think of that song, I think of Nat King Cole. It's that same song, right?
Is it? Could be.
I'll have to listen to.
It's a standard, I think. So
tenderly.
Yeah, it would not surprise me if Nat King Cole sang it. So another one on here by the Smiths, "Oscillate Wildly." Great song. It's all instrumental.
Oh.
And actually, we were having an all hands at work, and my boss was playing this song at the beginning. So he actually got a lot of street cred that day for playing the Smiths, because I don't automatically think that my boss is the most hippest guy, but this definitely upped his street cred significantly. So the Smiths, "Oscillate Wildly."
I want to hear it.
Yeah.
A lot of these were yours this week.
Another song that I really liked, I heard a new song on our local, what do you call it? KEXP is a listener,
radio.
a listener-supported radio station out of Seattle. They're always playing all kinds of great music and new artists. And there's this British artist called Arlo Parks, and she had a song that I Shazammed while listening to KEXP, and it's called Green Eyes. So we added that one to the playlist. But she's got a brand new album that just came out this year. This is her first album. It's called Collapsed. Oh, sorry. It's called Collapsed in Sunbeams, and it's fantastic. Nice. And it reminds me a lot of Lily Allen in a way, because she has a very kind of soft, kind of sing-songy way of singing. And so that reminds me a lot of Lily Allen. But give Arlo Parks a listen. She's fantastic for her freshman offering here, her first album. It's actually really, really nice. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So our next one isn't a new song either, but it's a classic by Journey.
Right.
Who's Crying Now?
Right. And actually, the backstory of why this is on the playlist is actually pretty funny.
It's a good one.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, who doesn't like Journey, right? And when that comes on, whether you're in a restaurant or wherever where we happen to be enjoying a happy hour, a rare one after,
very rare,
the phase 2 was kind of reinstilled. We were like, let's go to one of our favorite little places and see if we can't hang out at the bar for a little while. And sure enough, we were able to. There's a restaurant up here in the Pacific Northwest, it's a pizza joint, a small chain called The Rock. Yeah. And their theme, it's a themed restaurant, and it's all kind of classic rock.
Right.
And flames and roadie, concert gearboxes where you would have all your gear in.
Rock and roll.
Very rock and rolly type of place called The Rock. Anyway, good pizza, good drinks. What was interesting?
Very social distancing.
What was interesting about this is our neighbor patrons at the desks at the tables near to us. We couldn't help but overhear their conversations, and they were actually talking about Letterkenny, and they were singing Bare Naked Lady songs.
Yeah, so we definitely perked our ears
so it was
up.
like we perked, and that me that just automatically made me want to join in on their conversations, which actually gave one of the guys a little bit too
encouraging.
Too encouraging, because the next thing you know, he's come over to our table and he starts talking about strap-ons and pegging and all kinds of crazy stuff.
Anal stuff.
Yeah, right. Anal sex.
Because we obviously we were both fans of Letterkenny, which is a very irreverent show.
Yes.
And he thought we were, kindred spirits or something. Mm-hmm. And, this guy that we don't know just comes over our table and starts to talk about, what makes ladies want to have
anal sex. Yeah. You can say it, Jen. It's okay.
Though. I really can't.
Yes, you can say it. Say it for our listeners right now.
No, you can't make me.
Say anal
I said
sex.
Anal.
Sex, and just add sex on the end of that.
Sex.
All right. Now put those two together.
No, it's enough. Anyway, this guy, you were proud of me, right? For handling it well.
Right.
It's like, okay.
Yeah. It was like, go away now. Go away.
Right. And he did.
Yep. So it was very funny. Anyway, last but not least, one more song on the listen list here, and then we can kind of wrap things up.
All right.
Guess what? Bruno Mars has a new song out, but he's formed a new band with Anderson .Paak called Silk Sonic, and they've got a new song out called Leave the Door Open.
It was very Bruno Mars sounding.
Yeah, very, very good. And I'll tell you, when live music comes back in full force, and the pandemic is all but over and we get to see concerts again, I believe that Bruno Mars will be on the top of my list. He's been on my bucket list for a while now.
Yeah, he's definitely on my list, but Justin Timberlake tops me.
Oh, yeah,
think.
yeah.
So
he'd be great to see,
ones.
too, but I'd definitely love to see Bruno Mars.
For sure.
He had a Las Vegas residency, and so maybe he'll go back to that, and we'll get to go Vegas or something like that. Yes, Vegas. So anyway, that's our show, folks. Let's wrap it up. A few things that we want to mention before we say goodbye.
Always.
We want to mention our hotline.
Which is?
If you want to get a hold of us, give us a call at 1-206-800-6405. And this is basically the equivalent of an answering service. So if you call up, it's just going to go straight to voicemail. You can leave us a message about anything we talked about today, or a topic that you might want to suggest. Or
let us know if you slept on your stomach.
Right. Let us know, folks, if you slept on your stomach and you had a sex dream. Call our hotline. Again, that's 1-206-800-6405. And don't forget to visit our website at disturbintheburbs.com.
Search for Disturbin the Burbs on Facebook or Instagram.
And give us a like, all right? If you're a new listener, look for us on social media and like our shit.
Please.
Also, if you're a listener, please subscribe. This really helps us out a lot. Subscribe to our podcast on Apple or Google or Spotify, Amazon Music, Stitcher. I mean, hell, you can even listen to us on Alexa. You can say, hey, Alexa, play Disturbin the Burbs podcast.
Cool.
And it'll start playing our podcast.
We're everywhere.
We are everywhere. So also, if you'd take the opportunity to rate our podcast, if that option is available, please do that. That helps us grow our audience and land cool guests on our show when that time arises. Yeah. Well, it was another fun episode. We talked about a lot. We talked about dog puke.
We traumatized ourselves.
We talked about big fucking spiders. We talked about dreams and movies and music. It was good. Really fun.
And
love
now
you.
I'll block out the spiders.
Yeah.
I love you too.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.